Hey, what is happening, guys? Good morning, everybody. You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels. Today is Monday, March the 6th, 2023, early in the AM here. Today's going to have to be a relatively short video. I only got 10 or 12 minutes here. You guys may have missed me. Maybe you didn't miss me. But I was gone for the last week. I think I had mentioned it, though I didn't say it right before I took off. So we didn't have any of the daily update videos last week. I kind of did a little bit of a digital detox. Didn't really go on social media, didn't really spend any time on the internet. So I'm a little bit out of the loop, tried to catch up on things a little bit over the weekend. I was down in Key West the past week, was down in Key West for a couple days, and then up to Fort Lauderdale, went and visited a buddy of mine in West Palm Beach. And that's going to be kind of part of the story today, or kind of part of the narrative today, which is going to revolve around real estate. My buddy moved down near, West Palm Beach, Boynton Beach area. He's paying $1,900 for a one-bedroom. And I was going to go to his house and pick him up just because traffic down there is so terrible. We wound up meeting up about halfway in Delray Beach. So I didn't get to make it out to his place, but he basically described his apartment complex as Little Haiti. He said it's not a very good neighborhood, it's not a very good complex, but he's paying $1,900 a month for a one-bedroom in a not that great place, and just kind of goes to show how bad home affordability is. We're going to be talking a lot about home affordability in today's video. Zero Hedge had an article over the weekend. First-time home buyers are absolutely screwed. They're talking about how the age of the average home buyer went from 29 back in the 80s to 36 today. Talking about how over 30, or actually over 40% of first-time home buyers and young home buyers are needing assistance from their parents to be able to buy homes. We're going to be talking about what areas of the country are doing best. We had a lot of stuff to cover. I don't know if we'll be able to get through everything today. First off, shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Reversion. Reversion is an affiliate management platform. If you guys have a Shopify store and are looking to set up an affiliate program, highly recommend Reversion. Check out the link in the description box below. Also, if you guys are affiliates yourselves, check out reversion.com. They have an affiliate network. You can sign up as a publisher, and you can find and sort through various affiliate programs looking for products or niches that may appeal to your audience. From the person running the affiliate program side, if you have a Shopify store, BigCommerce store, WooCommerce store, Reversion allows all your affiliates to have their own back-end dashboard. They can create specific links to specific pages. They can track their sales, and you can pay everybody, even if you have hundreds, thousands of affiliates, you can pay everybody out with 1 or 2 clicks at the end of the month and just shoot mass PayPal payments out to everybody. I do a lot of movie suggestions, so I got a movie recommendation for you guys. I got back on Saturday and was super tired. I had to get up at like 3 in the morning to catch my flight back, and so I was just kind of lounging around the house, catching up on some sleep, relaxing a little bit, and watched the Gerard Butler movie Plane. He's a pilot. Plane crashes on kind of a war-torn island in the Philippines. Really great movie. If you like kind of like cheesy action movies, if you like Gerard Butler movies, Liam Neeson type movies, you'll really like this one. But without further ado, let's jump into today's video. Before we get into this, I wanted to share a story with you guys. So yesterday, I got together with some family and a good friend of mine, and I think I had talked about this person in a couple previous videos. They are working for they basically do freight sales or freight brokering. Make over $150,000 a year, have been doing really well, have been doing that for like the past 15 years. And I think I had mentioned that pretty much all the middle management at their company got laid off a while back. Well, now they're cutting their commissions. So rather than having uncapped commissions where the sky's the limit in terms of what you can earn, the more you sell, the more you earn, her pay is going to be slashed by about 60%. No longer are they able to earn commissions. They basically get like chintzy little bonuses for hitting certain sales targets. But at some point, the most money you can earn in a single month is going to be $1,400. That's basically where you're capped. So essentially, there comes a point when there's zero incentive for you to continue selling because you're not going to make any more money for doing so. And again, this person makes good money. Her husband makes good money. They eat out a lot. They have very expensive tastes in clothes. They just recently bought 2 new cars. We're looking to buy a home. And, all of a sudden, this person who had a career, 15 years, making very good money, making well over 6 figures, the rug is just pulled out from under her. And, now she finds herself, she's got good sales skills. And if you have sales skills, you can typically make money. There's always people out there looking for a good salesperson. But this person basically had the rug pulled out from under them, and their income is going to go from $150,000 down to, I don't know, $60,000, $70,000. And they're definitely going to have to kind of tame back their lifestyle. And she was kind of talking about how she's going to have to kind of like learn how to cook and learn how to do meal prepping. And over the weekend they were doing some work on their own house themselves as opposed to hiring somebody, because they got to look out a little bit closer after their money. And, this is just one person that I know. This is just kind of an anecdotal experience. But think about all the people who've lost jobs and have completely lost their income. This person lost their commission. They're losing 60% of their income. That's rough, but there are a lot of people being laid off from their jobs. A lot of people aren't getting raises at a time when inflation is out of control. And a lot of people are even taking pay cuts. Let's see, my first note here is, this buddy of mine who moved down to West Palm Beach paying $1,900 for a one-bedroom. It says he basically lives in Little Haiti. It's not a nice neighborhood. Think about how hard it's going to be for him to not only build up an emergency fund and be financially secure, but think about how long it's going to take for him to save up money for a down payment. Years ago, it didn't take that long to save up money for a down payment, especially how you can put 3.5% down with FHA loans. But you can still get FHA loans, but interest rates are so high, homes are so unaffordable that I think now they're saying on average it's going to take 10, 15 years for your average person to be able to save up for a down payment on a home. And that kind of leads us into this Zero Hedge article. First-time home buyers are absolutely screwed. The average age of homeowners in 1981 was 29. In 2022, it's over 36, and it's rising. It's taking people longer and longer to be able to save up money or get into a situation where they're able to buy a home. And this is very, very different. It wasn't that many years ago. I bought my first home. It was a townhome. It wasn't the nicest home in the world. Backed up to power lines and backed up to railroad tracks, which I never really thought too much about the railroad tracks. The power lines kind of bothered me a little bit. But seeing all these train derailments, I thought we had another train derailment in Ohio again over the weekend. We got the East Palestine thing. It would really make me nervous living near a train track where freight trains come through. And even now, like I probably live within 0.6 miles of a train track. So I mean, if some toxic stuff spilled, I'd be pretty screwed. But at least it's not right in my backyard. But that's kind of besides the point. Last year, first-time home buyers made up 26% of all home sales, which is the smallest on record in 28 years. Typical household income for a first-time home buyer in 2022 was $90,000. Think about that. Like, you're in probably the top 10%, top 12% of earners making $90,000. So for 90% of people out there, the ability to buy a home is just not something that's going to happen. And again, for context, I bought my first townhome in my early 20s. At the time, I think I was making $14.75 an hour. I was making next to no money. I forget exactly what point during this job I was working at the time I bought the home, but I think I started off making like $24,000 a year. By the end, I was making like $28,000 a year. But I was making peanuts, but I was still able to buy a home. I was kind of scraping by. I did the house hacking thing. I moved a couple buddies in with me. They pretty much paid the mortgage. I was able to either invest or just kind of make double mortgage payments. But it wasn't that long ago that I was able to buy a home making $14.75 an hour. Now you need to be making $90,000 a year. Zillow economists have come out and said that we are far from home affordability for the masses. And one of the headlines in this Zero Hedge article was "Rich Kids Win Again." Even prior to the Mexican beer cough, a third of young people tapped their parents for help buying a home. However, since 2021, with home prices going crazy, that number has picked up to over 40% of young people needing assistance from parents, either as co-signers or down payment assistance. So almost half of young people out there, almost half of first-time home buyers need help from their parents to be able to buy a home. Zillow also said the Midwest and Northeast will hold up the best. The Midwest never really sees the run-ups in real estate like the coasts do. Half of the country could see prices come down, whereas half of the country could see prices stay stable or even go up. These experts are kind of all over the board. Some experts are saying, oh my gosh, this is going to be a terrible housing crash. Others say homes could actually continue going up in value. A lot of people are kind of speculating that if the economy gets bad enough, the Fed will have to change course and start lowering rates to save the economy. But they said if that happens, it's actually going to cause home prices to skyrocket because you have all these buyers sitting on the sidelines not wanting to buy at these high prices and at these high interest rates. We've talked about this before. You can have high interest rates, you can have high prices, but you can't really have both at the same time. Fannie Mae has come out and said that home prices will fall by 4.2%. And further in 2024. Peak to bottom, they're expecting to be around 20%. And just for context, the decline during the Great Recession was 33%. Now, I think a lot of people would be shocked if we saw a decline of more than 33% in home prices. But if you think about it, some markets went up over 33% in a single year from 2020 to 2022. So even if prices come back down 33% from the peak, we're still above Mexican beer cough prices. We're still above prices before the pandemic started. Redfin says rates will decline in 2023 below 6%, though a lot of other people are expecting 30-year fixed mortgage rates to be over 7.1% by the end of the year. Fannie Mae says housing won't recover in 2023. Higher mortgage rates will keep buyers on the sideline. And some are saying that this problem will take 5 years to be resolved before we have a surplus of home supply that winds up bringing supply and demand back in line. But again, expert opinions are all over the place. Home prices are down about 11% nationally over the last 8 months. And a lot of people are going to be stuck in their homes. Think about all these people who bought homes in 2020, 2021, 2022. We've talked about a lot of these articles, a lot of these anecdotal stories from Reddit and social media, where somebody bought a house in Seattle for $1.4 million and it's now worth $700,000. It's now worth $800,000. Most people are only putting the minimum down on homes as well. A lot of people are doing FHA 3.5% down. Even conventional, you can get a mortgage for 5% down. When somebody's home declines 15%, 20%, 30%, 33%, when somebody's down hundreds of thousands of dollars on their home, they bought a home for $700,000 and they see it's now only worth $450,000 and they only have 12, 15,000 in the game. What do you think people are going to do? Are people going to say, okay, I guess I'll just be stuck in this home for the next 20 years? Or do you think that people are just going to wind up walking away from these homes and saying, if I walk away, maybe I lose 15 grand, 20 grand, 25 grand, 30 grand, but I'm already down $150,000 on this house. I think we will see a lot of people walking away from homes. And thus far, we haven't really seen foreclosures and short sales ticking up a ton. We haven't really had the mass job losses outside of tech and mortgage and real estate. But I do think we'll see a lot of people walking away from their homes. And we're also hearing right now that a lot of people are walking away from their cars. A lot of people are either giving up their cars, letting their cars be repoed. And a lot of people talk about the used car bubble. The lending on cars has been kind of crazy. People overpaid for used cars in 2022 by as much as 44%. Those prices ticked down about 14% in recent months, though I think in January we saw used car prices go up a little bit. But same thing's going to happen to these people with cars. What do you think is going to happen when somebody has just a little bit of money down on a car? They bought a car that they could afford at the time. Inflation's eating away. Interest payments on their credit cards are eating away at their, at the extra money they have every month. And these people are realizing, I owe $60,000 on this car that's now worth $35,000, and I only have $2 grand, $3 grand, $5 grand into it. It may make sense to try to go out and get a loan on a cheaper car right now, and then just default on the more expensive car that I'm not going to be able to afford in the long run. Or people are going to decide, people are taking on car loans for 7 years, 8 years, even 10 years. People are going to decide, I don't know that I want this $700, this $800, this $1,000 car payment for the next 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. And they're going to start walking away from these car loans, which is going to spell big problems for the banks. Another kind of crazy story, Portland to close all Walmart stores permanently amid a wave of thefts. I guess there's only 2 Walmart stores left. A lot of the stores have already left. We've talked about how bad crime and organized shoplifting rings are in this country. In Portland, murder rates are at all-time highs. There was a 26% surge in organized theft from stores. And the woke agenda of the city is leading to lawlessness, and a lot of these stores are moving out. What's going to happen when Walmart winds up moving out? People are going to start stealing from the small little corner grocery store, from the local businesses, and when all those places run out, they'll likely be stealing from your home if you live in Portland. I saw this last week, a small town in Kentucky of I think it was 1,600 people. The Zero Hedge article was that they had 6 dollar stores in their town. And so we're now seeing other small towns across the country actually blocking dollar stores from coming to their town. There was a small town in Georgia that has blocked dollar stores from opening in their town because they feel like it prohibits, grocery stores aren't going to come to the town if there's a surplus of cheap dollar stores. You're seeing other small towns who are limiting the number of dollar stores in their homes. in our towns, or if there's a dollar store, there can't be another dollar store within 2 miles, 5 miles. I got to start moving through here pretty quick. You guys probably saw California got record snow. San Bernardino, people are buried in their homes. They're writing SOS messages in the snow outside their homes. We talk a little bit on this channel about being prepared, about having extra food, extra water, a way to heat your home if the power goes out. And a lot of people think like prepping and being prepared is kind of crazy or weird or unnecessary in today's modern society. But we see these stories happening over and over and over again where it would really help to be prepared. Ford filed a patent for a system that could shut down the air conditioner in your car and other aspects of your vehicle if you fall behind on payments. A lot of people like a lot of the fancy tech in their cars, but it really gives a lot more control to not only governments but also private companies who may want to shut down your air conditioning. Washington Post article the other day, I thought this was kind of crazy. Yes, Biden's student loan forgiveness plan is unconstitutional, but we should do it anyways. The Supreme Court heard oral arguments back on February 28th, but they won't rule until June, possibly July. And apparently they will also decide when the student loan pause ends. I believe it's expected to end in August. And what do you think is going to happen when millions and tens of millions of people who haven't had student loan payments for over 3 years all of a sudden now have a $400 payment, a $700 payment, an $800 payment, a $1,000 payment that they haven't been used to paying in 3 years? Most people probably haven't budgeted this money, haven't set aside this money, and aren't used to having to pay this loan. Coming out of San Francisco says that deporting fentanyl dealers would violate their sanctuary city policy. So you have illegal immigrants who are selling poison to the citizens of San Francisco, and the kind of woke municipal government of San Francisco apparently thinks the rights of fentanyl dealers to stay in the U.S. illegally is more important than their population not overdosing and having their society turned upside down by fentanyl. San Francisco is also looking at opening up supervised drug use sites. This city is a mess, and their priorities seem to be allowing people to use drugs and legalizing prostitution. Oklahoma is set to legalize recreational marijuana on Tuesday. It's going to be the most conservative state to do so thus far. They're going to charge a 15% tax on sales, which will go to schools, courts, local government, and state government funds. And apparently they're expecting Texans to make up more of the sales than actual Oklahomans. Texas, still does not have recreational marijuana. And I think we talked about the marijuana market in Oklahoma a couple weeks back. It's so loose in terms of the regulation, and anybody can get started, and it doesn't require a bunch of bonds and licenses and a bunch of nonsense that other states do, which is actually a good thing, but it's kind of hurt the prices. They talked about how a gram cartridge has gone from $70 down to $20. I actually got a buddy who just recently moved up to Grand Rapids, Michigan. He's looking to get into the marijuana game, and I was kind of telling him, I'm like, everybody getting into the space is kind of driving prices down, so it'll be interesting to see how he did. A new report from business.com shows that people who identify as they and them are less likely to be hired. This is self-reported, so this is 80% of people who believe that it's made it harder for them to get a job. But it is kind of funny that all these companies who are super woke and progressive and want to tout trans and gay and this, that, and the other don't actually want to hire these people, despite putting on a good show about how supportive they are of the movement. Starting in April, Discover Card will begin tracking gun purchases and reporting back to the ATF and the government. I had another article over the weekend. I got to really start blowing through here. Over 75% of Americans 18 to 25 are unfit for military service, and the military is actually lowering its fitness requirements, especially for jobs that aren't physically demanding. And we're expecting, this is kind of separate from the military but part of the same issue, we're expecting over half of the global population will be obese by 2035. It's also funny that we're running around the world trying to start new wars at a time when everybody here is too fat or too lazy to actually be in the military. And I don't blame people. Why would you want to be in the military? I don't want to go lose my life for Ukraine or Israel. People join the military wanting to support the U.S., not other countries. LA elites are spending over $150,000 for protection dogs as the crime problem continues getting worse. The head of the EPA has recently come out and said that everyone has said what everybody already knew, that kids shouldn't be anywhere near East Palestine, Ohio. And again, I've been a little bit out of the news for the past week, but right before we left, we had 2 or 3 tanker trucks with hazardous materials tip over across the country. There's been another Norfolk Southern train derailment in Ohio. They're saying no toxic materials were spilled, but do we really believe anything that they say? Zero Hedge had an article, Joe Rogan, and it's kind of crazy how big of a presence Joe Rogan is when it comes to news and pop culture and things like that. Like, people actually write headline articles about things that Joe Rogan said. But Zero Hedge had an article. Joe Rogan came out and said that CNN lost a fuckload of credibility over their beer cough propaganda. And then the last article of the day, I really got to blow through this. We won't get into this too much, but U.S. beef herds dropped to the lowest level since 1962. So I got to get running, guys. That's today's video. I'll should be back on schedule doing the daily videos. I know we haven't been able to catch up on everything from the whole week in the past 20 minutes, but I'll try to kind of catch up on some stories from the past week that I missed in this week's coming videos, and we'll also be covering the new news of the day. I think I forgot to mention markets over the weekend. It looked like markets closed up Friday, and it looks like crypto is down maybe 2 to 5% on the week. But that's all I got for you guys today. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button down below and ring the bell. As always, guys, thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Later. Peace.